What is up? Sports bettors, football fans, sports fans in general. We are Last Minute Betting with the Sports Nuts, brought to you by OddsJam. That's where you can go find all kinds of odds to bet, make money, and party with the money that you make. We are on Twitch. We're on YouTube. And we're on Apple. Check this out. We're here today. Don't forget. There you go. I see it. And that is Amon-Ra St. Brown. And that makes Justin very happy. Very, very happy.
Oh, it makes me very, very happy. Oh, that's an understatement of the year.
I know. Gotcha. Now, what's up, Tristan? Right on time. Gonna be a great show. There you go. I've got to start this off with the two of you. Okay, this is directed at both of you, based upon two stats I'm going to give you. All right. Number one, the team that has given up the least amount or has the best scoring defense in all of the NFL is the Chargers. And the quarterback that has only thrown one interception, the least amount in the NFL, is the Chargers quarterback, Justin Herbert. I have now bet them 4 times this year, and every time they won me money. So my question to you guys, why are you not jumping on the Chargers bandwagon?
Well, first of all, I mean, yeah, of course Herbert hasn't thrown many interceptions because he is a great quarterback who, I don't care what anybody says. Like, yeah, he hasn't reached his whole potential yet, but he's always had that talent. No question. And you were the one, Bob, that said before the season Justin Herbert's the most overrated quarterback in the league.
I'm just talking about he's only thrown one interception. I'm not talking about the rest of his game. He's only thrown one interception. I'm talking about you being a Chargers fan, and why are you not backing up your team by putting your money where your mouth is?
Well, because I want to win Super Bowls, and I don't think they are capable of making it to a championship game.
Okay, so why don't you bet them? Like for instance, Sunday was an absolute. Randall and I talked about this. An absolute back up the truck play. It really was. It was a back up the truck play.
Yeah, and it may have been, and I didn't want to jump on it because I've just not trusted this team enough yet. And once again, they're 5-3. They got Tennessee. We'll have to see what they do there. You can't have a letdown there, and they're known to do that sometimes. Don't think Tennessee will win that game, but, if they did, I would not be shocked. I mean, that's been the MO of this team for a long time. And then they got a stretch coming up. We're going to see what they're really made of. I know Cincinnati struggled, but they're going to have to handle Cincinnati, then Baltimore, then Atlanta. Then they've got Kansas City again, Tampa Bay, not looking as bad, but certainly that stretch there, that's going to be telling for us to see what this team's really made of. We'll know by the end of that if they're a playoff team or not.
I mean, Mike, you might be a Nostradamus here, by the way. I mean, because the Bengals right now are 4-5. The top 2 wild card teams in the AFC are the Chargers at 5-3 and Denver at 5-4. And then comes Cincinnati and Indianapolis. So your Bengals could still be they are in this.
They're in the mix. There's a lot of games left. They're in the hunt for sure. That's going to be a big game. I mean, that's going to be a big game there. And then, like I said, after that, you follow it up with Baltimore. Now you get Cincinnati and Baltimore at home back to back. That's kind of good. Makes it a little better of a chance. You can't lose both of those games, certainly, though. You got to win one of them. If you can't
you
beat
gotta beat the
Cincinnati,
Bengals.
you got to beat. Well, yeah, but if not, you
That's
got to
the
beat
game.
all. Yeah, well,
That's the game.
yeah.
Because you gotta. Then you win a tiebreaker. All kinds of things. That's a really important game. Yeah,
Well,
I hope
that's
too.
the stretch right there. Cincinnati, Baltimore, Atlanta, and Kansas City. That's your 4-game stretch. Because after that, like I said, Tampa Bay, they're so banged up. Still a game you have to take serious, but that should be a winnable game. Then Denver, then New England, and then the Raiders to end the season. So that stretch of 4 games, we're going to find out what this team's made of, and we'll have an idea if they're a playoff team or not. Because you mess around and lose 3 or 4 of those games, you're probably not going to make the playoffs unless you ran the table from there. And even then, it could be tough.
New Orleans fired their coach. Tristan's very, very happy about that. I know none of us were picking Carolina. I do want to point out that we put 2 parlays together. And one of those money line parlays was on, well, we were split on the pick, had to flip a coin, what have you. Believe it or not, only one of those games came through. The Chargers was the only one.
That was the only one. And Carolina winning, none of us were on Carolina, but a lot of the ones, we were split on the Rams and Seahawks. Rams ended up winning. That's what we went with. We had Arizona and Chicago. We were split. I know I liked Arizona in that game. I think that was a split, though. So, yeah, but we ended up going with Arizona. And then Detroit and Green Bay, I believe that was a split. Maybe. But yeah, most of those came through. Worked out very well. And unfortunately, wouldn't have mattered if we did go with the Chargers and the Panthers winning, we didn't have them,
So we had Lions won, Browns lost, Rams won, Vikings won. Okay, obviously the Chiefs is still pending. Ravens won, Bills won, Saints lost, Titans, Cardinals, Eagles, Bengals,
another one,
Commanders, Titans. Falcons all won.
All won that we were split on.
Yeah.
And they all won.
But here we are with, 2 games, and one of those being that the Saints loss.
Yeah, I mean that was going to kill us. I mean, I liked Arizona, I liked Tennessee over New England, I liked Detroit over Green Bay, but I liked the Browns over the Chargers too, which would have screwed us anyway. So,
dude, I mean that's 2. If
that's close.
Win,
I mean,
that's 2. That'll be twice we've only lost 2 games.
We're close. Parlay. Yeah, we're close.
Very close. All-time low as a Saints fan, dude. I remember when they wore bags over their heads. Okay, yeah. They were called the Aints, not the Saints. They called them the Aints. They were that bad. Okay, you don't know what low is.
Well, yeah, they were pretty bad in the early 2000s, 90s.
Oh, well, we're talking even before that, dude. Back when Tom Dempsey, the half-foot kicker, kicked the 63-yard field goal that had been the record. Did you know that?
Maybe.
Straight-ahead kicker. Oh, Flacco was terrible last night. Where are the people that were worrying about Joe Flacco making an impact on? He's terrible. I mean, no mobility at all. I mean, that and folds under pressure.
Well, I don't know how he was so good last year with the Browns. I mean, he was like the main reason they made the playoffs, and now he's not looking so good.
He had Amari Cooper.
Yeah, Amari Cooper.
All right.
Great defense, too.
Now, I got something here. All right. Now, I don't know where Mike went, but I'm going to ask you. So, the score is what? 21-10, right?
And
there's like 28 seconds left. And Indianapolis is on the 30-yard line of Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
So, first of all, the guy that's going to kick the field goal had already missed 2 field goals, number one. Number two, I've always heard that you get the touchdown first. Because now, if you recover an onside kick, you're going to recover the onside kick at like your 45-yard line. So, where you're at on 4th down is 30 yards away from a touchdown. But you're going to kick a field goal and put yourself 55 yards away with 28 seconds left. Can you explain to me the logic in that? You get the touchdown first.
Well, I think. Well, I don't know. Honestly, I think like you could choose either way, because if you kicked a field goal and then they were down by 8 points?
Yeah, but there's 28 seconds left. If you recover an onside kick, you're going to recover it in your own territory, okay? Meaning that you are over 50 yards away. You were just only 30 yards away, okay? Why would you move yourself back? I mean, you're putting first of all, your offense wasn't moving the ball anyway. So what the hell makes you think that you can go 55 yards in 28 seconds?
Well,
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's one of those analytic things. It's almost like, when you're down by like 5 or something like that. It's like, and you just scored a touchdown. Do you go for the extra point, or do you try to go for 2?
No, this is completely different, though.
I know, but it's like it's similar in the analytics standpoint.
Listen, if there was a minute and a half left and they kicked the field goal and then tried the onside kick, I'd say, yeah, 100%. I'd be 100% for that, okay? But they only had 28 seconds left. They weren't going 55 yards in 28 seconds. Not that offense. No way. Based upon what they did last night, no friggin' way. And they weren't going to be able to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor at that point, which he was their most effective weapon, So in all reality, and by the way, here's why I'm bitching about this. I lost. I had the Colts plus 6.5 live. If they get that touchdown, I win that bet. But even if they don't, I'm not bitching today. Okay?
So
because they would have went for the touchdown. Okay?
It's bias is what you're saying.
A John Madden, a Don Shula, a Bill Belichick would have went for the touchdown. I'm telling you right now.
I don't know. I mean, I recall a lot of the great coaches doing just that too in the past. I mean, Sean Payton. I remember Belichick doing that too at times.
Not with that few seconds left. You got to take the time. Listen, I said if there was a minute 30, I would agree with it. But there's not. There's only 28 seconds left. You don't have the time to move that offense down the field with the offense that you have. That's all I'm saying. I'm really not being biased. I really think it's logical. Worst performance of the day? Probably so. Go ahead.
Bottom line, though, if you get yourself in that situation, you did not play well. That's just the bottom line, though.
Exactly. But once again, faced with that situation, I want you to think about that because you're very analytical. Think about it. Which gave you the best chance to get a touchdown?
I mean, it'd probably be the 30-yard line.
And if you do get the touchdown and you get the onside kick, you don't have to go very far to be in field goal range. So that's all I'm saying.
You could say that. Yeah, you could
Tristan says Lions are the best team right now. I agree.
Agreed.
Chiefs ain't beating the Lions. Never bet against Patrick Mahomes. That's all I can tell you, bro.
Yeah, I was on edge when I took the Chargers spread against the Chiefs that one time. That had me on pins and needles.
Right.
Which, speaking of the Chargers, so are they statistically the best defense in the league this year?
Now that I don't know. Scoring defense, yes, but the other stats are different.
Yeah.
You can give up the least amount of points, but maybe not have a great pass defense or what have you. So no, that I don't know. I haven't checked those stats yet, but they're a pretty good defense, and that's how Jim Harbaugh builds his teams: offensive line, defense.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I love the scheme. The scheme alone is making Brandon Staley look pretty bad because he actually had the Chargers when they had talent. The Harbaugh has this team with absolutely no talent, and he's making them look competitive. That says something about Jim Harbaugh. So that's great. But I just, like I said, the receivers, the second most important position on the football field, they got no receivers, so I can't trust them.
Okay, well, you and I will never, ever, ever agree that wide receiver is the second most important position on the field. There is no frigging way. No.
I disagree. I mean,
you got to have a quarterback and you got to have a line. If you ain't got a line, you're screwed.
Okay, well, tell that to the 2008 Eagles.
What about them?
That they embody exactly what I was talking about. They had the most complete team in the NFL at the time, but had no receivers, so they never made it to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I don't know if they were the most complete team ever.
No, not ever, but at the time they had top 10 defenses, great O-lines, great quarterback in McNabb, Brian Westbrook, Andy Reid, but they had Pinkston and Thrash at receiver, so they made it to the NFC Championship, which was remarkable, but they never made it to the Super Bowl. And when they actually got receivers, they actually did make it, but they didn't win.
Okay, I got you.
Receiver is, because if the quarterback's the most important position, receiver is the second best by default.
No, you're 199% wrong, and you can go down to the annals of football and you'll never find coaches going, man, wide receiver is the second most important position on the football field. Now, you know what? They may say middle linebacker. Okay, that's the way it used to be. Okay, the middle linebacker is the quarterback of the defense.
Well, without a good D line and good secondary, then they got no reason to have the middle line.
Without an offensive line, you can't throw to the receiver. I don't care how wide open he is. You ain't getting to him if your quarterback's on his back.
Well, I mean, if they're fast enough, then you can make it work, but with no receivers, you can't make it work.
Okay, but with no line, you can't make it work, and you get your quarterback killed. Sorry, you're wrong.
What about the 2021 Bengals?
You know what? Freak of nature. Okay, every dog has its day, but on a consistent basis, wide receiver is not the second most important position. Okay, so yeah, the Titans have let through 22 TDs. Thank you, Dan. I'm about to you. I'm about to you. I like that. They allow less yards, but still over double the TDs. And that's why the Chargers have the best scoring defense. They don't give up.
Well, got to keep that going next year when we actually get receivers. When we get receivers, I hope we keep this team exactly the same.
By the way, what PhD is talking about is our Discord, Sportsnet's Discord, and I put a live bet in at halftime under 173.5 between Santa Clara and St. Louis U, and it won. It hit 163. So live bet made me some money. Threw that in the Discord, folks. We put free plays in our Discord all the time. And there's a link below in the description for you to join. So join up, man. We have a great time in the Discord. We've got somebody on Twitch, feel free to jump into the chat. We've got a few people on YouTube, a few people on X. Speaking of which, college basketball start today. I've already won my first college basketball bet. I'm excited. It's here. Some big games today. You know, we have these tournaments to start off the year where they go to Hawaii and, you know, all those different places. I really enjoy that. Is live betting really worth the extra money? I still work a 9 to 5. Having the platinum plan, I would say, is definitely worth it. But here's the deal. You get a free trial. Here, all you got to do, Dan, is email me, bob@oddsjam.com, and I'll get you hooked up. All right. So, good discussion so far. You know, we're gonna disagree about this wide receiver thing, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to find you data upon data upon data to prove that you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Well, I got the most basic data alive, but it speaks for itself that there's no, you look at all the quarterbacks except for Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, not won Super Bowls. None of them won it without at least one elite receiver, or maybe even two really good receivers. You don't see it. You don't see it happen.
And, you know, and back in the day, they'd say, you do not win a Super Bowl without a good offensive line. And the running backs who have won MVP in the Super Bowl will prove that. Okay. Guys like Marcus Allen, John Riggins, all Super Bowl MVPs. Okay. And it was because of the hogs up front. In the case of the Redskins, the hogs up front were what carried that team. Wasn't Joe Theismann. Joe Theismann was a very good quarterback. Art Moss, Hall of Fame wide receiver. It was that offensive line, baby. And they'll tell you to this day that the hogs are the reason that we won Super Bowls.
Has a running back even won a Super Bowl MVP in the 21st century?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Probably not. Probably not. Because the game shifted, okay? But it still boils down to one thing. If you can't protect your quarterback, you're not going to win.
Well, yeah.
Terrell Davis, yeah. But that was in like 1999, wasn't it? Or 98? That wasn't in the 21st century.
Well, right. But, I mean, you need a complete team. I mean, like, very few teams have won without good receivers, good O-line, or whatever. But, like, that's why I've given the Packers so much crap for their last few years with Rodgers, because they didn't want to complete their team. Like,
and I understand that, okay? But that's to do some of the thing. Here's the problem with that, okay? If you can't pass the football, you got to be able to run the football. And if you can't pass the football and you can't run the football, then your offensive line sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, no question.
So bottom line is that if you don't have a great passing game, and you know what? The team that we could fall back on there is the Ravens when Trent Dilfer was the quarterback that won the Super Bowl. Okay? You name me the big name wide receivers on that team. You know,
I can't remember. And when was that? Wasn't that like 2000 or something?
Yeah. Exactly. All right.
I wasn't even watching the NFL
then. Okay. All right. Of course, I have to be before your time. You know what? Maybe read some books, some history or something. All right.
I've read enough. Just, I mean, you think if you take Jerry Rice off the San Francisco 49ers in the 80s, you think Joe Montana has 4 Super Bowls? No.
Hold on. First of all, his His first Super Bowl he won, Jerry Rice was not there.
Okay, but like he
That
doesn't
was
get there.
Dwight Clark. And you got to remember, Roger Craig was the running back who was a Hall of Famer. Okay, so let's not forget that either. Okay, not discounting Jerry Rice. He was fantastic, best receiver I've ever seen. But they already won one of those 4 Super Bowls. He already won without Jerry Rice. Probably won another one. Probably not 4, but I think 2 at least, maybe 3.
If anything, because
no, well, that, like I said, they already won 1, so he won 4 Super Bowls. Rice was not on that team that won the first Super Bowl. He was not. He was still in college.
Well, yeah, he doesn't get the other 3 probably then, because
he would have gotten one of them, because the one year Roger Craig, I don't know if you know who he is, was a fabulous running back. And don't forget, man, they had Ronnie Lott tearing people's heads off in the secondary. I mean, that defense was bad. Their secondary was badass. They absolutely locked down receivers. Yeah, there you go. Chiefs just won one without an elite. He was saying that already. That
I said that already.
Brady.
Yeah, that's why I consider them the 2 greatest quarterbacks to ever play. Is not only because they've accomplished more than most others, but they have done it without really good receivers.
And once again, we'll debate that all you want. First of all, Brady had an elite receiver, Randy Moss, and set all kinds of records, but couldn't win a championship with him.
Yeah,
but you know what? He won the other ones when he had a Wes Welker, probably one of the most underrated wide receivers to ever play the game. Absolutely speed, who could turn a Tom Brady pass that was 2 inches off the ground and catch it and run 90 yards for a touchdown. That had nothing to do with Tom Brady. It had to do everything to do with him. And I believe it was on a Monday Night Football game. And when it happened, all we heard was, and Brady. And I'm thinking, and Brady? What the fuck did Brady do? He threw the ball over here and threw it that far off the ground. There was nobody on the guy. It was a little screen pass thing. You know what? How about a little credit to the blockers? And the guy ran 90 yards. Don't get me started on Tom Brady, most overrated quarterback ever.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yes.
Okay. Well, if Tom Brady's the most overrated quarterback ever, then Wilt Chamberlain's the most overrated basketball player.
You're right. Actually,
they did.
Go talk to Charles Barkley about Wilt Chamberlain, by the way.
I know. He thinks he's better than Shaq.
Charles Barkley would whip you on that. He would absolutely whip you.
He thinks Wilt's better than Shaq.
Wilt
he's wrong.
Was his idol, dude.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Wilt
biased.
was a great player. He was great.
He
did more things than other players did. Wilt could pass, he could rebound, and he could shoot. Okay, he could block shots. Okay.
Oh my God. He was great. But he's not top 5.
Yeah, well, he's not overrated, but Tom Brady's overrated. You know what? I got to go on that.
No, it's
yes.
Hey, you're ready? Come on.
You're muted. Who's winning the game tonight, by the way?
The Chiefs.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, see you all tomorrow night. Peace.
Canceled so early. Come on.